I still remember the morning I realized I was broke. Not a little short broke. I mean, the kind of broke where your bank app greets you with a balance smaller than the tip you just gave for your coffee. My rent was due, my car smelled like instant noodles, and my big financial plan was basically hoping gas prices would drop. That's when it hit me. I didn't have an income problem. I had a money doesn't know how to work problem. No one ever told me that a few small, quiet dollars could actually recruit more dollars while I slept, if only I knew the number to start with. So I went looking for it. And what I found changed everything. In this video, I'll share the smallest amount you need to make compounding finally work for you, not against you. Stick around till the end and hit that subscribe button. Not for me, but for your future self who'll thank you later. I used to think investing was a rich man's game. Back then, I worked at a small auto repair shop in Ohio. My hands were always covered in oil, my lunch was usually gas station sandwiches, and my savings account was flatter than the tires I changed every day. I told myself, people like me don't invest. We save, if there's anything left to save. Every Friday, I'd get my paycheck, pay rent, grab some takeout, and swear I'd start investing next month. Then, next month became next year. One evening, while I was wiping grease off my hands, my buddy Mark, one of those guys who always seemed to know something I didn't, looked at me and said, "Bill Gates started with $100, man. The only difference is he invested his." I laughed it off. Sure, Mark, and I bet he didn't have to fix a busted Honda Civic at 10 p.m. But that line stuck in my head longer than the smell of motor oil. I started reading about compounding, and you know what I realized? It's not about how much money you have, it's about how early you let it start working. Compounding is like planting a tree. You won't notice anything at first, it's just a stick in the dirt. But one day, when you're sitting under its shade, you'll wish you had planted it sooner. That's when I learned the biggest difference between people who stay broke and people who build wealth. Some spend money, others plant it. And when you start planting, something magical happens. Your money starts working while you sleep. It doesn't complain, it doesn't take weekends off, it just grows quietly, the way trees do if you give them time. So if you've ever thought investing is for someone richer, smarter, or luckier, believe me, I was that guy too. And that's exactly why you can start right where you are. I used to think investing was like microwaving success. You put your money in, wait a minute, and boom, you're rich. At least that's what every YouTube ad told me. But reality? My first 3 years of investing felt like watching paint dry. I checked my account every week, expecting fireworks, and all I got was a few extra bucks, barely enough for a burger. I started thinking, maybe this compounding thing is just a myth people use to sell finance books. Then came year 5. Suddenly, the graph started to tilt upward. Not because of luck, but because of momentum. It was like pushing a heavy cart uphill for years, and one day, realizing it's rolling faster than you can run. That's when I understood. The real power of compounding doesn't live in numbers. It lives in time. Think of it like this. You scoop a handful of snow, press it tight, and drop it down a hill. At first, it's barely bigger than a marble. But give it space, give it slope, and soon it's pulling in more snow, building its own speed until it's so heavy it shakes the ground. That's how money grows. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Here's a simple picture. At 4% annual growth, it takes around 30 years for your money to hit $1 million. At 6%, about 24 years. At 8%, roughly 20. At 10%, closer to 15. Each extra percent doesn't just add a little, it bends time itself. But here's the catch. You can't rush this process. You can only protect it. Every time you pull money out too soon or panic when the market dips, it's like stopping that snowball mid-roll. It loses weight, slows down, and has to start over. So when people tell me, I wish I started 10 years ago, I always say, then start now, so your future self doesn't say the same thing. Because compounding isn't some secret for geniuses or millionaires. It's just math, powered by patience. And patience, my friend, is the rarest and most profitable currency left in the world. I still remember 2008 like a bad breakup. One day, my portfolio looked fine, The next, it looked like a crime scene. The market tanked, the news screamed panic, and I did what every rational person does in a storm. I hit sell. I told myself I was protecting what little I had left, but what I really did was panic. By the time I stopped, I was down 40%. That was the most expensive anxiety attack of my life. 3 years later, I checked the numbers out of curiosity. If I had just left everything alone, I would have doubled my money. I didn't lose it because the market crashed. I lost it because I crashed. That's when I learned a painful truth. The market doesn't destroy wealth nearly as fast as emotion does. We like to think investing is about numbers and logic, but it's mostly about nerves and patience. When you check your account every morning like it's your social media feed, you're not an investor. You're a dopamine addict with a brokerage app. Every uptick feels like a victory, every dip like heartbreak, and soon you're trading on feelings, not facts. That's why I tell people, compounding only works when you don't touch it. It's like planting a tree. If you keep digging it up every week to see if it's growing, it'll die before it ever gives you shade. The same with your money. It needs time, space, and calm. So these days, I don't chase headlines. I don't check my account every morning. I just let my money do its quiet, boring job, growing while I live my life. Because in investing, the real enemy isn't the market, it's the mirror. When I first started investing, $1 million sounded like a fantasy number, something people in suits talked about over wine I couldn't afford. But then one day, I asked myself a simple question. If I wanted to get there, how big did my first snowball really need to be? So I ran the math backward. Let's say your goal is that shiny 1 million mark. If you invested in something like a broad stock index that averages around 8% a year, and you give it 30 years to grow, you don't need $1 million to start. You need roughly 100,000. That's it. Now I know what you're thinking. 100 grand still sounds like a lot. It did to me too. But here's the thing. It's not a rich man's number. It's a planner's number. The difference isn't in the paycheck. It's in the patience and the plan. Think of it like boiling water. For a long time, it looks like nothing's happening. It's just sitting there, calm and quiet. But the moment it hits 212 degrees, everything changes. Energy turns to motion, bubbles rush to the top, and the water transforms. That's what happens when your money crosses that 100,000 line. It's the point where compounding stops whispering and starts shouting. It's also the line that anyone can reach with a plan. Save $850 a month at 6% and you'll cross it in about 8 years. Cut it down to $500 a month, around 12. Even $250 gets you there in 20. It's not overnight, but it's not a lifetime either. I still remember the first time I hit 6 figures. It took me 8 years, and honestly, 2 more just to believe it was real. Because by then, my money was growing faster than I could. And that's when I realized something most people never do. The hard part isn't making compounding work. It's giving it enough time and trust to let it. So when people ask me, what's the magic number? I tell them, it's not the million you dream about. It's the first 100,000 you fight for. When I first started working, I thought saving meant willpower. You get your paycheck, promise you'll set some aside, and somehow resist Amazon, DoorDash, and happy hour. You can guess how that went. Every month, my savings plan turned into, well, next month for sure. Then one day, I did something that completely changed how I handle money. I set up an automatic transfer to my investment account the moment my paycheck landed. I didn't trust myself, so I let the system do it for me. That money was gone before I could even see it. And you know what? I never missed it. I started calling it my future tax, a small fee I paid every month to the future version of me who hopefully would be smarter and a lot more relaxed. At first, it was just $50, then 100, then 500. I wasn't making much, but the moment it became automatic, I stopped fighting my own bad habits. Because here's the truth, wealth isn't built by discipline, it's built by design. If you're in the US, you already know how this works. 401ks, IRAs, they're basically automation tools disguised as retirement plans. You contribute before you even touch the money, and somehow, decades later, you wake up to a nest egg. It's not magic, it's math mixed with consistency. You can do the same thing with an index fund. Set up a recurring investment, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and then forget about it. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is whenever your next paycheck hits, because money you never see is money you never miss. I'll be honest, I'm not rich because I'm brilliant. I'm rich because I'm lazy. I built a system that invests for me while I'm busy living. Once that money leaves my checking account, it's no longer a temptation. It's a worker heading off to the factory of the future. So, if this part makes you stop and think, hit that like button, not for the algorithm, but because you just invested one more second into your future self. Because the real secret to financial freedom isn't grinding harder, it's setting up your money to work harder without you. When I was broke, I used to think the only way to make more money was to find a better job. More pay, bigger title, shinier office, the usual fantasy. But the truth is, my breakthrough didn't come from a promotion. It came from a 200 side gig teaching math online to high school kids who hated algebra as much as I loved explaining it. It wasn't glamorous. Some nights, I taught from my kitchen table with a flickering light bulb and my laptop propped up on a stack of cereal boxes. But that extra $200 a month, it wasn't pocket change, it was momentum. I didn't spend it on a new phone or sneakers. I funneled every dollar straight into my investment account. That's when I started to understand the mindset shift that separates the average from the wealthy. Every dollar you earn should have a job. If you live in America, you already have a goldmine of small skills people will pay for. Freelance design, tutoring, dog walking, handyman work, food delivery, writing, coaching, whatever it is, there's a market for it. You don't need to invent a new app or open a business empire. You just need to use what you already know. Most people think building wealth starts with big money. It doesn't. It starts with awareness. The awareness that your time and skills can be traded for extra cash, and that cash can be turned into assets instead of expenses. When you treat every extra dollar like an employee you've just hired, your job is to put it to work, not give it a vacation in your checking account. So, here's a small rule that changed my life. Every dollar I earn outside my main job goes straight to my investments. I never even let it touch my spending money, because if you let lifestyle creep catch you, your progress will disappear faster than payday Friday. You don't need to be a genius to grow wealth. You just need to look at what you already have and use it differently. Here's a truth that hit me way too late in life. Every dollar you earn is a worker. And just like people, some dollars show up early, some arrive late, and most of them will sit around doing nothing unless you give them a job. I used to be the world's worst manager. I'd let my dollars chill in my checking account, earning close to zero while inflation quietly stole their lunch money. Think about it. If you owned a construction crew, would you pay your workers to sit in the truck all day? Of course not. But that's exactly what most people do with their money. They let it rest instead of reinvesting it. The first time I learned about reinvesting dividends, I thought it sounded boring. Why would I put the profits right back into the same thing? Isn't that just recycling money? But that's the secret most people miss. Every dividend you reinvest is a new worker you've just hired. It joins the crew, picks up a hammer, and starts building wealth for you. Let me give you a real example. Take the S&P 500. If you'd invested in it decades ago without reinvesting dividends, your money would have grown nicely, maybe doubled or tripled. But if you'd reinvested those dividends along the way, the result would have been 2 to 3 times higher. Same stocks, same market. The only difference was whether your workers went back to work or stayed home watching Netflix. The math is simple, but the impact is massive. Reinvesting creates a feedback loop. Profit earns profit, which earns more profit. It's compounding on steroids. So here's the rule I live by now. Never leave your money idle. Every dollar needs a task. Whether it's reinvested dividends, interest from savings, or side hustle cash, send it straight back into the system that builds more of it. Because money, like people, loses its purpose when it stops working. And wealth isn't built by how much you earn, it's built by how well you keep your dollars employed. When I first heard someone say, anyone can hit 6 figures, I rolled my eyes. Back then, I was barely hitting rent. $100,000 sounded like something reserved for doctors, tech bros, or people with perfect credit scores. Definitely not a guy reheating pasta 3 nights a week. But the truth is, once I learned how to build a simple system, that number stopped being a dream and became a timeline. Here's the roadmap I wish someone had given me years ago. 3 moves that turn your finances from chaos into momentum. Step 1. Automate your savings. This is what I call creating invisible cash flow. The money leaves before you can miss it. Every paycheck, I set an automatic transfer straight into my investment account. No debate, no temptation. When I started, it was $50, then $100. Eventually, I didn't even notice it leaving, and that's the point, because money you never see is money you never miss. You're not trying to be disciplined every month. You're designing a system that saves for you while you live your life. Step 2. Increase your income using the skills you already have. Stop chasing some shiny new hustle just because it's trending on TikTok. Look at what's already in your toolbox. I used to tutor math online. My friend Jenna started dog sitting on weekends. Another buddy fixes bikes after work. These aren't get-rich schemes. They're simple, repeatable ways to earn an extra few $100 that can go straight into your investments. You don't need a new degree. You just need to turn your existing skills into small, consistent streams of income. Step 3. Cut silent expenses, the kind that steal your future in tiny bites. We all have them. The gym membership we never use, the subscriptions we forgot about, the daily Starbucks habit that costs more than our car insurance. I used to tell myself, it's just $5, but here's the truth. $5 a day is roughly $150 a month. Over 10 years with compounding, that's tens of thousands of dollars you traded for caffeine you don't even remember. Every time you eliminate a useless expense, you're not depriving yourself. You're redirecting that money to work for you instead of against you. When I put these 3 steps together, automatic savings, income growth from my own skills, and cutting waste, something shifted. The gap between where I was and that 100,000 a line started to close. Slowly at first, then faster. And here's the thing, I'm not promising you'll be rich overnight. You won't. I wasn't. But I'll make you one promise. If you follow this roadmap, you won't stay broke forever, because wealth isn't built by luck or genius. It's built by boring consistency and a plan that runs whether you feel motivated or not. So, if a broke kid reheating pasta could build a 6-figure snowball, what's stopping you from starting yours today? I used to think wealth was about numbers, charts, returns, interest rates, but over time, I learned it's really about peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing your money is quietly working while you sleep. Time, discipline, and reinvestment. Those are the 3 pillars that built everything I have today. Not talent, not luck, just boring consistency. The kind that feels invisible at first, until one day you look back and realize that quiet snowball you pushed years ago has turned into an avalanche of freedom. I remember standing in the rain once, staring at my bank account in the red, thinking it was over. Now I let that same rain water the tree I planted years ago, my financial tree. It grows slowly, but the roots run deep. So here's my question to you. What's your starting number? Is it $100, $1,000, or $10,000? Comment below and I'll help you figure out your own compounding roadmap. And if this video struck something inside you, join us. Subscribe to FinZebra. Not because I said so, but because your future self deserves the knowledge you're getting right now. We learn, we laugh, we grow rich. Together.